Hello everyone and welcome to Farm Bureau's Voices of Agriculture. This week coming to you from the state of Mississippi. On the show this time, we visit the farms of the finalists for the 2017 Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award and the YFR Excellence in Ag Award. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Each year, young farmers from across the state have the opportunity to win fabulous prizes in the Young Farmers and Ranchers contests. This year, 7 finalists were named for the YFR Achievement Award and 5 finalists were named for the YFR Excellence in Ag Award. The judging panel spent a good bit of time getting to know these finalists and learning about their operations. So why don't we do the same? First, let's meet the finalists and the winner of the 2017 Mississippi Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Ag Award. Our first nominee is Peyton Pfizer from Bolivar County. Peyton is a field sales representative for Bayer Crop Science.
As a field sales representative, I get to call on distributors, growers, consultants, helping them making decisions about what varieties to plant, what chemicals to use, how to solve problems that they encounter throughout the day. I have 3 counties. I have Bolivar, Washington, and Sunflower counties.
And even though Peyton doesn't farm himself, he's really gotten into the Young Farmers and Ranchers program.
I really enjoy getting to know a lot of people in that industry. Just networking, I think that's the biggest thing. And also uniting as one, just to try to get people out there and let them understand what Farm Bureau is about, what farmers are doing.
Our next finalist is Crystal Graves from Ripley. Crystal serves as the box office and events manager at Crossroads Arena in Corinth. They host a lot of ag-related events at the arena, including the county fair.
We actually have a 3-day fair this year, and what we're setting up for in the barn is for our cattle show. We have 185 head pre-registered, so it's actually one of the largest county fairs in our area. And this is basically what a lot of people in this area look at it as, is kind of the last show before we all get ready to go to state fair.
Crystal has been involved with agriculture her whole life, starting when she was 6 years old.
And it was just because I decided that if whatever my brother could do, I could do. So he was showing cattle starting, and so I just decided that I could do the same. And I showed cattle throughout all the way until I was 21. I also was very involved with 4-H and FFA, and my FFA involvement as a state FFA officer for 2 years is what really rooted my agricultural ties. Then I was fortunate enough to be selected to be on our Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee for the state. I'm also the county women's chair. Being the women's chairman has probably given me more opportunities to do what I love to do, and that's to teach others about ag.
Next, we have David and Kelly Russell from Starkville. David is an extension associate at Mississippi State University in the Plant and Soil Sciences Department, working in weed control.
We evaluate a lot of the herbicides that a lot of people use in forages and hay production for livestock. We evaluate those in multiple crop settings on multiple weed species, many of which we may not already have the answer to. Our job is to evaluate not only the herbicides, but just the general weed management for that specific production so that they get the most profit out of their livestock operation.
Kelly is a graduate assistant in the Department of Sociology doing rural community research.
My interest is specifically in rural sociology, so I'm interested in communities, agriculture, and people, and the combination of any of the 3.
Kelly does presentations and lectures for students and the general public.
Food is a popular topic, so if it is framed as in food, where does your food come from? Who makes your food? Anything of that like. People, just the general public, are very interested in learning about that.
The Russells have 2 children, 3-year-old Ava and Silas, who's 1. Next, we have Matt McGowan from Rankin County. Matt grew up on a farm outside of Carthage in Leake County.
I grew up on a poultry farm, and we also had a beef cattle herd. We had laying houses, so for those that are unfamiliar with laying houses, it's kind of the equivalent to the dairy farming industry, where it's a 24/7, no vacation type deal. 2 houses producing about 16,000 eggs a day that we were having to pick up by hand.
Nowadays, Matt is a retail account manager for DuPont Crop Protection, which offers a complete portfolio of herbicides, fungicides, and insecticides, all geared toward helping farmers make a better crop.
So daily basis, I'm meeting with retailers and we're talking about the issues that they're facing in trying to get product on the ground with their growers.
In addition to that full-time job, Matt also runs a small cattle herd.
I do have a few registered Black Angus cattle that I have on my father-in-law's farm. That's something that I take a lot of pride in.
Matt also serves on the Farm Families of Mississippi Steering Committee.
Agriculture in the state of Mississippi is an economic engine, and the general public sometimes forgets about that, they forget that we need agriculture for all 3 meals a day, for all the clothes that we wear, even, riding to work in your vehicle. You don't realize that, agriculture plays a big part in everything that we touch in our lives. And, Farm Families of Mississippi does a great job of just bringing that awareness to the general public and really to the public outside of that ag community.
And our winner of the Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Agriculture Award for 2017 is Austin Smith of Perry County. Austin is an instructor of biology and microbiology at the Jones County Junior College.
I teach some freshman general biology, and those are always fun to deal with. I also teach microbiology, and that's pretty much a sophomore level course. I have a lot of students that are majoring in ag-related fields, but we also have a lot of health-related professions, students that are in health-related professions that are in that course. So anytime that I can integrate these topics into the classroom, I like to do that. I've always found it interesting to take my freshman students or even my microbiology students and talk to them about what a GMO is, tell them the science behind it, actually how it's developed. I like to go through the science of how it's actually made and why it's really not that weird.
In addition to his teaching career, Austin is an integral part of his family's honey farm.
We operate Smith's Honey Farm with about 1,100 colonies. We're in 3 counties in South Mississippi and 1 county in North Mississippi. The foremost reason is an opportunity to continue honey production after the honey production pretty much has ended in South Mississippi. We go into a dearth in South Mississippi in early July, and so we take bees to Noxubee County, Mississippi, and continue to produce honey off of the soybeans and cotton.
The honey is brought in from the fields and held in a room until it's needed in the processing facility.
The processing facility pretty much has an uncapper, and then you have an extractor. So the extractor, of course, is going to spin the honey out of the combs.
From there, it goes into a separator that pulls out any leftover wax.
And then it goes into a bulk tank in the back of the shop, and in the bulk tank, we are going to put it in drums. And so it stays in drums until we either sell it wholesale or we take it and put it in our bottlers and we bottle it ourselves for a product that we provide to customers, and we sell in grocery stores, and we sell some what you call fruit stands or produce markets, everything like that.
Austin says that the strength of Farm Bureau is the way that it brings farmers from all parts of agriculture together for the common good.
It goes back to the idea that we're all working together and we're all in this together. Farm Bureau is not to try to make the catfish producer any better than the beekeeper. It's to keep everybody producing, keep everybody in business. These policies are developed are not to make any one better than the other.
Austin has been involved with the County Farm Bureau for about 7 years and is currently serving as vice president.
Yeah, I served on the YFR, state YFR committee for a 2-year term, and that was a great experience because I got to meet so many different producers and learning what they do, and they got to learn what I do, and that was definitely a great experience. It's something I encourage those that are willing to be on that committee. I always like to encourage them to take that step and to do that.
We'll be back to meet the finalists for the YFR Achievement Award right after these messages. And welcome back to Voices of Agriculture. We're visiting the finalists of the 2017 Mississippi Young Farmers and Ranchers Awards. We've met the finalists for the Excellence in Ag Award. Now, here are the finalists and the winner of the YFR Achievement Award. Our first nominee is Walt Rambo from Sunflower County. Walt is a first-generation row crop farmer.
My wife's grandfather, when we got married, helped me rent 50 acres. And I borrowed some equipment and bought a little equipment. And
His farm is roughly 400 acres of rice and soybeans currently, but he does have expansion plans.
our rice is a specialty rice that we grow for Uncle Ben's.
Walt has partnered with NRCS to build a tailwater recovery system to reuse water on his farm.
We have a 20-acre reservoir that is fed by a 1-mile-long ditch that is 36 foot wide and about 8 foot deep, that everything on this farm is landformed to drain into. We have a relift pump system on the west end of the ditch that lifts into the 20-acre reservoir. We have underground pipe. For instance, this field right here, we are doing side inlet irrigation on our rice. At the same time, we're watering row fur irrigation on some soybeans right across the turn row. I think the Farm Bureau is extremely important as a voice for farmers. It gives me, as a 400-acre farmer, the same voice that a 10,000-acre farmer has. And they're fighting for us on issues that we don't have time to worry about when we're in the middle of irrigation or the middle of harvest or the middle of planting.
One Farm Bureau program that Walt likes is the Farm Families of Mississippi campaign.
Ashley and I and our kids were fortunate enough to be on a billboard last year, and that's been kind of neat to have people that I hadn't talked to in 10 years or 15 years that I knew from college call me and say they just saw me on a billboard wherever they live.
Walt has been involved in many areas of the County Farm Bureau, including being the County YFR chairman. His wife Ashley is a registered nurse, and the couple has 2 children, Addison and Wyatt. Our next finalists are Justin and Suzanne Brooks from Yalobusha County. The Brooks operate a diversified farm that's been in the family for generations.
4th generation farmer, great-grandfather, grandfather, and my father farmed. He passed away in 2011. That's when I took over, and I have a pretty diverse operation. Sweet potatoes, cotton, no grain. I grow somewhat of a truck patch, 15 to 30 acres of watermelons, sweet corn, peas, squash, tomatoes, okra, that kind of stuff.
After harvesting his truck crops that feature some of the best watermelons you've ever put in your mouth, Justin is finishing up his sweet potato crop.
I think we're gonna be somewhere between the 300 to 400 bushel of field pack grade potatoes, which field packs 1s, 2s, and jumbos.
In addition to his field crops, Justin also has a herd of cattle.
Well, I've got 78 head of cow-calf pairs, and then I've got 55 steers that I'm feeding. So yeah, I got a pretty diverse operation. Got a few cattle, and it's something to do all the time.
As the year winds down, Justin then shifts gears and runs the night shift at the local cotton gin. He says this helps supplement living expenses for the upcoming year. But Justin proudly states that Suzanne is the glue that holds this operation together.
My wife's very important to this operation. She takes care of the day-to-day bill paying and makes sure I'm fed, make sure the kids get back and forth to school. I have no idea about any of that. She takes care of everything that has to do with the kids, the household, the bills. She takes care of all of that. Great partnership. Couldn't do it without her. Wouldn't even want to. Wouldn't even want to.
The Brooks have 2 children, Andy, who is 5, and 3-year-old Bailey. Next, we have Adam and Laurie Steele from Pike County. The Steeles have a poultry operation near Magnolia.
We have 4 broiler houses. We started in 2011. We purchased the farm in foreclosure. We come in and upgraded, got started. The broiler houses, done pretty good with them. Our target weight is 9 pounds.
Days on a broiler farm are pretty busy.
In the mornings, I get up and I help my wife get the kids off to school. And then I come up to the farm and go through the first 2 houses and just make sure no feed lines are running dry or make sure everything's okay. And I'll go over to the other 2, make sure the birds aren't sick, make sure the water lines are the correct level, the feed lines are the correct level, temperatures are correct, make sure that all the fans are working properly. We have them inside the house to keep them where we can control the climate, the temperature, the feed and water. If they're not comfortable, they're not going to grow correctly.
Laurie is a lab tech at a clinic in town, and the couple have 2 sons, 8-year-old Slade and Sawyer, who is 6. Our next finalist is Marlo Beeson from Neshoba County. Marlo and her family run a small dairy just outside of Philadelphia.
We milk twice a day. We start usually at 7:30 in the morning and milk again at 7:30 at night. And we pasteurize and bottle milk every day.
The pasteurization process is done on site, where they use a lower temperature over a longer period of time to give the milk a creamier taste. Marketing is a two-pronged approach. They have a small storefront where the public can come and pick up milk right from the milk barn on the honor system. They can even make their own change in the basket. They also have a delivery truck to take fresh milk to stores. Beeson Farms also hosts many school and church groups throughout the year to let them see the whole process of how milk comes into the barn in a cow and leaves the barn in a milk jug. Educating the public on where their food comes from is essential to their understanding of farmers. Marlo emphasizes that it's exciting that she and her family have grown their farm into an operation that is touching the lives of so many consumers, while also being financially rewarding. Our next finalists are Sean and Morgan McDonald from Jones County. The McDonalds have a poultry and cattle farm near Ovette. Sean says they've been in the chicken business for 5 years.
My grandparents grew chickens in the early 80s, late 90s, so I had a little idea of how it operated. And then her dad had a farm, and we started out with that farm with the original 4 houses, and then we bought her grandfather's farm, which gave us 4 more houses.
In addition to that, Sean runs a cow-calf operation of about 80.
They're mostly Brangus-Angus cross with a little bit of Brahma influence on the back end.
Sean and Morgan are relatively new to Farm Bureau, but have gotten involved quickly.
John Kilgore got me into it with the Young Farmer and Rancher. I'd heard about it but never really was into it, and he got me on the Jones County board. I currently serve on the poultry commodity, the beef commodity, and Young Farmer Advisory Board.
Morgan is a 5th grade teacher and relishes the chance to raise her children on the farm.
I think it's neat. I think it's something that, again, you learn the value of hard work, and you learn lots of different things. There's that value that you learn from it. And I'm excited that we have Blake, that we're raising him on the farm. I feel like that's the way that the Lord planned for us to have our family. And we have a little girl on the way, so I feel like it's neat. I like it, and it's the way I was raised, and that's the way I hope to raise my family too.
Our next finalist is Taylor Hickman from Forest County. Taylor runs a poultry, cattle, and soybean farm near Hattiesburg.
This whole place was a dairy farm at one point. My granddad was a dairy farmer. I came along, I built these chicken houses. I built 4 of them in 2007, right after college. And then in 2016, I built 4 more chicken houses.
Taylor's houses are 500 feet long and 44 feet wide and house 22,000 birds per house. He generally raises 5 flocks per year. His cattle operation seems to complement his poultry farm.
Yeah, well, I mean, it works hand in hand. We got fertilizer from the chicken houses I can put on the fields, so it helps. The land's available, so why not put it to use?
If Taylor looks familiar to you, it could be because he starred in one of the Farm Families of Mississippi commercials a couple of years ago.
I think it's important for citizens to be aware of agriculture. Of course, I love agriculture. Everybody that's associated with Farm Bureau does, but not everybody gets those chances in life. Nobody's exposed to it. I think anybody that was exposed to it would be. I enjoy seeing a lot of my friends and stuff on those videos and billboards and stuff. I see some of them on my way to church every Sunday morning. There's the billboard.
And our winners of the 2017 Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award are David and Rebecca Arant of LaFleur County. They run a diversified row crop operation with a rich history.
My family started farming on this land in the 20s. My great-grandfather started the farm. I'm the 4th generation on the farm. My father and my uncle, they were here before me, and they are currently helping or running the farm, and I'm helping them on the operation as well. The farm is about 4,000 acres. We grow corn, soybeans, and rice.
This history is not just on the farm. David's grandfather, Hugh Arant Sr., was the 6th president of Mississippi Farm Bureau from 1972 to 1988. Rebecca, however, did not grow up on a farm.
In fact, when we were living in Jackson and he started talking about coming back to the farm, I was a little bit hesitant, and in fact, I kind of had some questions about GMOs and those types of things, but I really love agriculture, and now through Farm Bureau I've learned to be an advocate and I really love it. We have 3 boys, and so it is a wonderful environment for them. They're able to run around and explore and help their daddy on the farm. It's just the best place we could choose to raise a family.
David's role on the farm is to work with the corn and soybeans, making sure they all get planted correctly, sprayed, and harvested too. He's also in charge of the rice mill.
At the end of 2013, beginning of 2014, we started Delta Blues Rice.
In just a few short years, Delta Blues Rice has become a very popular brand, and it all happens right on the farm.
When we harvest the rice in August, September, we'll put it in the bins, dry it down, get it to the right moisture content, and then as we need the rice, we'll transfer the rice to our rice mill. The first step of the rice mill is the husker, and that removes the exterior yellow husk you see on the rice. And that right there gives you brown rice. And you can eat the brown rice just like that. It's really good. If you want white rice, then you have a machine that polishes that rice bran off of the brown rice, and that gives you the white rice. As we get orders in, we bag it up and send it out. I don't want my rice to sit on the shelf for a long period of time. I like for it to be as fresh and pure as possible. And I actually had a chef tell me one time, he said, when I opened your bag of rice, your rice smelled fresh. And how often have you ever heard fresh and rice being used in the same sentence? It really just doesn't happen.
David and Rebecca have been very active in Farm Bureau and the YFR program.
We became members of the Young Farmer and Rancher State Committee several years ago, and we've now since rotated off. But being a part of that committee, it introduced us to so many people from around the state who do the same thing we do as far as farming, but who might grow produce or grow chickens.
When we moved back to farm, I didn't really feel that much a part of the agricultural operation. I didn't know that much about it, but Farm Bureau and Young Farmer and Rancher really helped equip me to talk about agriculture, and it helped me to see my passion for so many of the things that are part of our way of life, protecting water resources, having good crops and what it takes to do that, developing leadership skills, communication skills, all those things are so important, and the program really developed those in us.
We'll be right back after this timeout. Stay with us. And welcome back to Voices of Agriculture. We've been visiting the finalists of the 2017 Mississippi Young Farmers and Ranchers Awards. Austin Smith, the winner of the Excellence in Ag Award, takes home this zero-turn lawnmower provided by Southern Ag Credit and an all-expense-paid trip to the American Farm Bureau Federation Convention representing Mississippi in the National YFR Excellence in Ag Award competition. David and Rebecca Arant, winner of the Achievement Award, receive a full-size pickup courtesy of Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company, $500 cash courtesy of Ford, 100 hours use of a John Deere tractor, 250 hours use of a Kubota tractor, $1,800 towards the purchase of computer technology from Mississippi Farm Bureau, and an all-expense-paid trip to the American Farm Bureau Federation Convention representing Mississippi in the National YFR Achievement Award competition. Congratulations to David and Rebecca Arant, and also to Austin Smith, who, by the way, made the top 10 at the American Farm Bureau competition. That's all the time we have for this edition of Voices of Agriculture. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and will be with us again next time. For all of us here at the Mississippi Farm Bureau, thanks for watching.